Buy a house right now or wait. I think we can all agree this is a very controversial time in real estate. You've got vastly different messages being pumped out into the news media. On one hand, people are saying that now is a terrible time to buy a house. The interest rates are horrible, sky is falling, the market's going to crash, bloody Sunday, yada, yada, yada. On the other hand, though, you've got people saying, hey, it's a great time to divorce your landlord and marry a great house and then just date the rate because interest rates are high. They're also saying on the pro side to buy right now, if the competition is definitely weaker because so many people have been knocked out of the market because of the high interest rate. So it's a controversial time, vastly different messages being pumped out into the media. Who do you believe? Well, today we're going to unpack all of the baggage and help you sort out if now is a good time to buy a house or perhaps maybe you should wait and turn it into 2024. Hi, I'm Lorene Hetherington with hetheringtonteam.com and Parks Realty. I am very fortunate to lead a team of luxury agents and we help people buy and sell homes here in Nashville, Tennessee. And if you're just joining us, we can't thank you enough for spending a couple of minutes with us. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss fresh content every single week about what it's like to buy and sell homes here in Nashville, Tennessee. So let's get started. Today's market is definitely not for people of faint of heart. If you don't have the ability to make quick decisions and fast decisions and stick to it, this is probably not a market for you to jump in and buy a house. But if you've got a strong backbone, if you are seasoned about real estate, or you just have taken the time to research markets and know that when an opportunity presents itself, it's a great house to go for it, then this is a market for you. So one of the key things that we're going to do right now is talk about action steps so you can gauge whether or not today or right now is a good time for you to make a decision to buy a house. Interest rates are a key factor in today's buying market. If you're lucky enough to go with cash all the way, which we have lots of cash buyers in that $1 to $3 million mark, good for them. But for a lot of people, traditional buyers still are going with conventional mortgages, and interest rates are hovering right around that 7.25% interest. So rates are high. So that may, first of all, affect your payment, your affordability. So the first thing you need to do is really get to a lender and figure out what is your sweet spot. And you may have to actually lower the price point of the house that you want to get into to make sure that your monthly payments make sense. We can't stress enough getting your financial ducks in a row. Let's face it, it's really hard to overnight just make more money unless you're in a type of job that works on commissions and you have great months and you can push it up to the next great level. But most people can't just make more money overnight. So what you can do if you're looking for a home is take a look at your debt. What do you owe? Do you have credit cards? Do you have student loans? Do you have car payments? If you can't affect your income, look at your debt and pay off as many debts as you can. That makes sense, because then your income ratios are a lot stronger and you can buy more of a house. The next step is pull your credit. I know a lot of people are allergic to having lenders pull their credit because they don't want to have dings on their credit, and having a lot of lenders pull your credit will drop your overall credit score. So you want to be very selective, but pick a really good lender that you want to partner with and go ahead and have them pull your credit. The reason this is important is because you never know what's on that credit report, no matter how diligent you are about paying your bills. True story, recently I was helping a family from Miami move to town, and the husband had just, I could tell, stellar credit, great debt to income ratios, was a very solid qualified buyer. But when we went to actually apply for the loan, he found out that there was a random medical bill that just literally got lost in the shuffle when he'd moved from one place to the next. And that medical bill went to collections, which was a huge ding on his credit. As you can imagine, lenders don't like when a bill goes to collections. So he wouldn't have known that unless he had his credit pulled. So if you're in the market, and I say looking for a home in the next 1 to 6 months, go ahead and have a lender pull your credit and make sure there's no smoking gun on there, because if it is, you need to get ahead of it and get in front of it before you actually apply for a loan. The next thing is to really zone in on your home search. The reason that's important is because there are some key neighborhoods where maybe there's only 3 to 4 houses that come up for sale the entire year. That also can affect the speed to which you're going to buy a house. So identify key neighborhoods and even school districts that you love, and then get very granular with your agent and have them pull data to find out, okay, if I like this specific neighborhood, how many homes are going to come up for sale traditionally every single year? If there's 20 homes, no problem, you can take your time. If there's only a handful of homes that come up for sale in some of these great neighborhoods, you might have to be ready sooner, because it really just depends on inventory. After that's done, you want to explore all options on financing. So we are very fortunate to help a lot of people in different stages of life, and I can tell you that my 30 20-year-old buyers and my late 20s to maybe upper 30s, a lot of them, because of this wacky market and interest rates, they are getting gift monies from friends or borrowing against their 401k to be able to get into the price point that they want to get into. So what I'm trying to say is you need to know your numbers and know what you can afford, and then look at all options. Perhaps getting a gift from family for a short amount of time, maybe that makes financial sense, but get those ducks in a row before you start hitting the streets and looking for a house. Also, be disciplined on your price point. Lately, I've been having a lot of buyers that say, okay, here's my benchmark, here's what I can afford, say $850, but they're going to start searching up to $1 million because they think the sellers are going to cave because the market has corrected. Well, if it's a great neighborhood and a great house, chances are very high that the sellers are not going to cave $150,000. So bottom line is, what you want to do is know your price point and be disciplined to stay in it. Because if you start looking at homes that are way more than you can afford, your eye is going to get used to these bougie big houses. And then if you can't buy them, then you're just going to get frustrated. It's also unethical and unfair to be kicking sellers out of a house if you really can't afford it to begin with. So know the numbers and stick with them. Last but not least, it is the holiday season that we're entering in. And I have a lot of buyers that I'm like, maybe instead of gifting and doing a lot of presents and celebrating over the holidays, maybe it's time to dial things back a little bit and just work on building up your savings. And I know that your family will understand if you're trying to make that next step to get into a great house or sell your current home and get into the next level of home for you and your family. So maybe this is the holiday to hunker down and save, or ask for gift monies to put toward a future house purchase, or just live a little bit more humbly so you can afford to offset the high interest rates. To recap, it is a very controversial market right now. The housing industry has vastly different opinions on whether now is a good time to buy, and only you and your lender and your partner or spouse, you have to make up your own mind on whether now is a good time to take the plunge and buy a house. And remember that buying a house is a long-term play. Yes, interest rates are high, but if you can get that great house at a reasonable price, it might be worth you jumping into the market despite the interest rates and then refinance down the road. We want to thank you for taking a couple of minutes to spend some time with us and talk about the housing market in general. My team and I specialize in Nashville Homes for Sale. So if you know someone who's thinking about moving to Nashville, or a company that's perhaps transferring a bunch of employees, go ahead and give us a call or text me directly, and we'll make sure that we do everything we can to let them know about the market so you can buy a house, get a fresh start, and live your best life yet.